Good morning and welcome to year number 5 of Pitt to the Point. I'm Colin Ferguson.
And I'm Kaylin Davis. Pitt to the Point is your weekly 1-hour Emmy Award-nominated news and magazine program that airs live from the state-of-the-art Pitt Studios.
Pitt to the Point covers everything from the University of Pittsburgh to our lovely City of Pittsburgh, as well as national and international events, news, people, and stories.
We're back with your favorite segments, such as Alumni Spotlight and Clubbing at Pitt, which showcases one of our amazing student-run clubs here.
We'll feature stories from incredible University of Pittsburgh regional campuses and tell you the top headlines from our neighborly journalists in arms, the Pitt News.
And we'll be joined live by our affiliate college and high school partners and their student anchors who will tell you what's going on in their schools and their communities. Now, we're statewide from Pittsburgh to Lancaster and Philadelphia.
And of course, we'll continue to bring you the most up-to-date news from the world of politics, sports, business and technology, and entertainment in the City of Pittsburgh and the University of Pittsburgh.
The University of Pittsburgh is constantly ranked as a top-tier national institution. And the U.S. News and World Report 2026 Best College Rankings, Pitt is 69th in the nation.
It was also ranked among the top 35 public universities in the country. And Forbes magazine referred to Pitt as the new Ivy.
Now, what makes Pitt so prestigious are its extraordinary faculty and staff. Today, we have a special treat for you.
We're going to feature amazing stories crafted by the students from the classes of Lisa Johnson, one of our amazing broadcast professors.
What better place to start than the favorite spot on campus? Here's Pitt to the Point's Dean Goldberg with his new favorite spot on campus.
My favorite spot on campus is the new rec center. Woo, yay. So we started off on the 7th floor. It's pretty packed today, but I really like the 7th floor. It has a lot of nice machines, especially leg machines. I did legs with my roommate Jay. There's him working out now. The 7th floor also has some nice views. There's the Cathedral of Learning over there. You can see the whole campus basically. Then we went down to the 3rd floor. Did some other stuff, very nice machines, but I really like they have all the little Pitt logos on everything, very school-spirited. It's very funny. Then we went all the way down to the 2nd floor. There's a lot of floors that you could see. I feel like the gym has everything now, even though it's so many floors. They have everywhere from basketball to pool. They almost play ping pong right there. There's a rock wall. I'm too scared of that. Then we went down to the food court and I got edamame, I believe it's called, and a little meal swap, and then we headed out for the day and went home, and that was our day at the gym. It was say bye to my roommate Jay. Yeah, H2P.
The feature was shot and edited by our own Pitt to the Point classmate, Dean Goldberg.
Pitt is a renowned R1 research institution. Now, an R1 university is a doctoral granting institution classified by the Carnegie Classification of Institutions of Higher Education as having a very high research activity. As of last year, these elite institutions represent the top 5% of U.S. universities.
Our business and tech reporter Maxine Van Nortwick gives you a glance at why Pitt is so revered in a new segment we like to call Origin Stories. Maxine?
Professors at Pitt are more than just teachers. They're educators, mentors to all, and leaders at the top of their field. This includes the University of Pittsburgh's very own chemistry professor, Jill Millstone. Let's hear more from producer Michaela Albers about how Jill is an MVP, Most Valuable Professor.
I'm Jill Millstone. I'm a professor in the chemistry department, and I've been here for 14 years now. I just started my 14th year. And I work in inorganic and materials chemistry with graduate students and undergraduates. I've always been interested in how the world works, whether it was learning that through literature or learning that through science. I've consistently been fascinated and excited by the world around us. And as an undergraduate, I got involved in undergraduate research, and I just really loved learning the tools to answer your own questions. So if you want to know, why does this material work in this way, I started to learn the techniques that I could use to answer those questions and connect them with fundamental principles. And I really loved feeling like I had this deeper and deeper window into the mysteries of the universe. So many people inspire me. I think when we talk about inspiration, I think a lot of times we're talking about who do we admire, what is it that, kind of keeps us going. I think people like scientists like Richard Feynman, who profound beauty and majesty inside of the concrete work that goes into scientific practice. And so I'm inspired by the rigor that can come alongside awe, and so that was people like Feynman and Carl Sagan. But I'm also inspired by, the people who have pushed on through history. My great-grandparents who immigrated here, all the people who are working hard. I think about the privilege that it is as a human being and certainly as a modern person to be pursuing how the world works. For so long, humanity has been focused on our needs and getting from one place to another. I'm inspired and I'm also motivated by the gift that it is to get to do this work. We study how do materials form, how can we make those processes of synthesizing those materials efficient, sustainable, and precise so that we can develop new materials to meet new challenges that we have, whether it's figuring out how to harvest solar energy in a different way or make the conversion of oil into shampoo more efficient. Whatever the case may be, if we can develop materials to solve those challenges, then we've made a big contribution. And that all starts with how do these atoms come together, and that's what we study. I appreciate the clarity. Science has a very systematic way of evaluating information, and so much of human life is muddy. You don't know, could be this, could be that. But in science, it's not that it's clear all the time, but you have a path. You have a toolkit by which you can evaluate these things, and there's a comfort in that. And so between comfort and joy, I'm just happy all the time.
Thanks, Michaela. Now, Jill's story is one we can all follow, especially being happy in all that you do as a main motto. For Pitt to the Point, I'm business and technology reporter Maxine Van Norwick. Kaylin? Colin?
Pittsburgh public servants are employees within the city, county, and state agencies who are dedicated to serving residents.
These are the people who choose a career in public safety, human resources, and public works. They make a positive difference in all our lives.
There just so happens to be something similar here on the Pitt campus. Our political reporter Farah Handawe has more about that for you. Farah?
Mahatma Gandhi once said, the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. Well, that's at least what the Gamma Sigma Sigma chapter here at Pitt is attempting to achieve, where sisterhood is built in service. Let's take a look at the chapter here with our producer, Ashley O'Donnell.
At a school as big as Pitt, it's easy to feel like just another face in the crowd. Between classes, jobs, and everything in between, a lot of students are still searching for a place that feels like theirs. For the students in Gamma Sigma Sigma, that place started with service, but it didn't stop there. Gamma Sigma Sigma is a national service sorority founded in 1952, built on the idea that service can bring people together. At Pitt, the Gamma Rho chapter became official in 2012, and since then, students have found a home rooted in giving back. But ask any member, and they'll tell you it's not really about checking off volunteer hours or showing up to events.
I joined GSS because I wanted to meet more people around campus and go to more service events and get more involved in general.
For many members, Gamma Sigma Sigma became something they didn't even realize they were looking for.
It's given me a much broader range of people to interact with, both within the organization and outside of it when we're doing our service. And it's just helped me make a lot more connections in the Pitt community.
That connection becomes clear once you see them in action. It's found in afternoons spent braiding challah for Change, assembling feminine hygiene kits for Days for Girls, or making and serving dinners for families staying at Family House. Moments where service feels less like an obligation and more like time spent together.
My favorite service event is volunteering with the CHS Food Bank. I just love to give back and to organize all the food and see a real impact in our local community.
From supporting local nonprofits to partaking in campus-wide initiatives like Pitt Dance Marathon, Gamma Sigma Sigma shows up for its community.
It's allowed me to meet so many cool people and to really get involved on campus, academically, socially, and through service.
Through hands-on service like this, members aren't just helping others. They're learning from one another, building friendships, and finding a sense of purpose along the way. In a campus this big, Gamma Sigma Sigma is proof that service doesn't just change communities, it creates connection, belonging, and a place to call home.
Pitt's blue and yellow looks good with maroon and white. Well, from Pitt dance marathons all the way to cooking meals, a sisterhood developed from service is a great way to move forward. Thank you, Ashley O'Donoghue, for producing the package. Kaylin, Colin?
Thanks, Vada. We have more incredibly entertaining features for you today, including introducing you to a Hollywood screenwriter that is a hit with Pitt's film and media students.
It's called Pitt in the Wild, just where are some of the best campus's best kept secrets.
And we'll introduce you to one of the people who make what you watch on TV impossible to turn away from. We'll have it all for you when we come back to Pitt to the Point.
What if you had over 30,000 big thinkers and believers behind you? In a city connected to everything? Well, you'd probably find yourself doing something truly incredible.
The Point. Happen to watch a story today that piques your curiosity? Want to find more about what's going on in Pittsburgh? Visit our website.
That's right. If you want to find out more about the world of politics, medicine, business and technology, and more, log on to pittothepoint.com.
Not only can you see clips from today's show, but you can also read about the topics that interest you and more. Check it out at pittothepoint.com.
Pitt student Kyunhai Yi has a very simply explanation as to the one requirement needed to make him feel at home on the Pitt campus.
It's something that we love for many different reasons. Here's Kyung-hee with his favorite spot on campus.
Hey guys, so I don't really have a favorite place on campus, but any places with a microwave is already a place that I really appreciate because who doesn't want to save money and also have warm food? So here are some places that I go to, because they have a microwave.
Back in the heyday of the steel industry in Pittsburgh, the most famous train lines in history ran through the city.
Train lines like the B&O, Baltimore and Ohio, PRR, Pennsylvania Railroad, and the P&LE, Pittsburgh and the Lake Erie line, which was called the Little Giant.
Now in Pittsburgh, there's Amtrak. Many of the students in Pittsburgh are very familiar with them. The popularity of trains is alive and well in Pittsburgh. Our city beat reporter Nick Bennick has proof of that. Isn't that so, Nick?
Thanks, Colin. Now look, we all know that the city of Pittsburgh has a deep connection to industry. And what kept those industries running were our railroads. There's a club here at the University of Pittsburgh that aims to keep that tradition alive. So let's take a look at how the Pitt Train Watching Club aims to keep watching as the trains pass through Pittsburgh.
Trains are cool. I like big machines, and trains are big machines.
I've always liked cars and sort of mechanical stuff, and so trains are just like, it's just like a bigger thing with wheels. It's loud and metal-y. My name is Frankie Wilson. I'm this is my third year, and my position is I don't know, founder, I guess, co-founder. I'm Ryan Little. I am a third year junior. We sort of got the idea to do it when it was nice out and we were going out and enjoying the weather, and then we started doing it and the weather got bad, and now the weather is still bad. We can't really tell them, oh, we're going to go out next weekend, because next weekend's going to be 5 degrees. We're definitely still in the process of starting it. To officially start a club at Pitt, you need 10 students and a faculty member to endorse it.
So yeah, it's been kind of a struggle through the winter. It would be cool, I guess, to take some people that are actually really into trains to places.
Probably just like having a reason to like go out and do it, and then sharing it with other people, I guess. We've been doing this a bit more through our time here at Pitt. There's a lot of train infrastructure here.
A lot of my photo work is around industrial places, and there's naturally a lot of trains around there. There was one cool spot out past Braddock, big steel mill there, and so there's a lot of train activity, and there's just all these bridges across the river, and there's a spot you can stand that's right above a tunnel that the train like goes under your feet through the tunnel, and you can see the whole bridge is over the river, and it's a really cool spot.
If you're still not convinced that the state of Pennsylvania is the state of trains, please note that the Pennsylvania Railroad is a staple location in the game of Monopoly. We wish the Pitt Train Watching Club the best of luck in all their future ventures. Kaylin, Colin?
There are about 97 different undergrad majors at the University of Pittsburgh that students can choose from across its various schools and colleges.
In humanities, one of the most popular majors at Pitt is rhetoric and writing studies. Our Pitt Beat reporter, Raketa Livingston, will fill you in on one of the reasons that major is so popular here. We're anxious to find out why, Raketa.
Don Holmes is an assistant professor here at the University of Pittsburgh who is loved by many different students. We get to see who is loved by many different students. He teaches American literature, rhetoric, and composition. He is loved by many different students, and let's take a look.
My name is Don Holmes. I am an assistant professor of English here at Pitt. I teach courses in American literature, rhetoric, and in composition. So for me, I think it all started when I was young, when I realized I wanted to be a teacher. In high school, I won this national scholarship to go and study ecology. in Canada. And that was the first time I ever met professors and people with PhDs. And I realized then at that moment I wanted to go to college. And of course, being that I come from a low socioeconomic background from rural Mississippi, I was like, oh my God, how am I going to pay for college? And so I decided to join the Army. So my college was kind of pushed off until I came back from Iraq. I started college in 2010 at the University of Southern Mississippi, and then I matriculated to the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, where I did my PhD. Then I eventually first started at Carnegie Mellon, where I worked 2 years as a lecturer of English before accepting a job here at Pitt as an assistant English professor. I think understanding of the Black historical experience, of course, Douglass, his narrative from 1845 in particular, and of course most of his writing. He was a very prolific writer, so he wrote a great deal of things. One of the things that he writes about that is so impacting is this ideal of being awakened to the mental darkness. Being shut up in mental darkness is one of the things that he wanted to kind of unlearn and then teach other people to kind of unlearn as well. The idea that Douglass is getting at here is that we should be thoughtful and mindful to the systemic injustices of the past, especially as we try to engage with the world in the present, so that we don't replicate those, systemic injustices. A more recent text that I think has been fundamental to my life as a human, which I'm teaching a little bit of Alice Walker. I would recommend her book, The Color Purple, which teaches us that we should not be the authors of oppression. Just because one is oppressed doesn't mean that doesn't give you license to oppress. And number two is that God is in all of us, right? As she says, where is God? God is inside of us and everyone else. And the ideal that you should be able to see the beauty that's inside of you, and that even though you are 1 or 10 billion humans on earth, you are unique and you are wonderfully made, and that's something special about that. And Walker, I think, constantly reminds me, of that as I, go through life myself.
As we close out on Don Holmes' story, we can see how he's very passionate about what he teaches and how he cares very much for his students. And I want to give a special thanks to Owen Linson and Ryan Silverberg for making this interview happen. For Pitt to the Point, I'm Pitt B reporter Raketa Livingston. Kaylin, Colin.
Thanks, Raketa. The student athletes at Pitt are incredibly talented, but we're going to introduce you to the talent behind their talent.
We'll meet a club that is constantly in search of the perfect powder in the winter.
First, the Summer Olympics in Paris, and now it's here at the University of Pittsburgh.
And we'll get some mojo by heading to the dojo when we come back.
I'm so honored and humbled to officially welcome you to the University of Pittsburgh.
Never in our 238-year history has a Pitt education been so much in demand. It's possible at Pitt is not just something we say when you walk in the door. Hail to each of you, hail to possible, and hail to Pitt.
Every University of Pittsburgh student, past and present, has a favorite spot on the campus. It could be the Frick Fine Arts Building Library or the gorgeous Hines Chapel.
For me, it's a place where I get to combine my two favorite things, broadcasting and sports. Here's my favorite spot on campus.
My favorite place on campus is wherever I get a chance to be on the microphone, which is most often here at the Peterson Event Center. Tonight I got a chance to be in the booth for Pitt men's basketball up against Louisville, which is most certainly shaping up to be one of those close games for the ages. I'm often about 2 hours early to a game call in case of any technological issues, so the media bench has actually legitimately become my favorite study spot on campus. Here at the beginning of the game is where I, as well as most Pitt fans, tend to feel the most hopeful. As that game goes on, or any Pitt game really, I continue to feel that hope leaving my soul. The stadium cleared out surprisingly fast after a remarkably close 159-point defeat. And after the game, I got a chance to listen to Coach Capel talk to the media, who are growing very vocal about their disdain for him, though not really to his face, before hearing from Coach Kelsey from Louisville. And that's about a wrap for this game. Thank you all for tagging along.
When you attend a Pitt sports event, you often find yourself in awe of the incredible student athletes like volleyball's Olivia Babcock, track miler Luke Simpson, Claire Jansen and Julia Koch from the swim team, or All-American linebacker Kyle Lewis.
Who you don't see are the superstars behind the scenes. Today, we'll spend time with an extremely talented person who makes sports look even better at Pitt.
My name is Winter Steele. I'm an assistant director of video production at the University of Pittsburgh, and I've been here for 3.5 years. So part of my responsibilities here is to focus a lot on fan engagement and in-venue video board content. A lot of what we do goes out on social media to help market and promote our sports teams and programs and our student athletes. A big project I worked on in my time here would have to be the Final Four video for volleyball. It was their 3rd year in a row going to the Final Four, and we got to work with Ben Roethlisberger, who did a voiceover for this video specifically. So I got to help write the script and edit the video. And then he recorded the voiceover for us and sent it back literally the same day that we put it out, and everyone loved it. And that's one of the projects I've been most proud of. Being able to have the opportunity to capture these meaningful moments with student athletes over the years, it helps me to tell the stories of each and every person we come across. The fans tend to see the sports sides of things, the talents of athletes, but they don't often know them as people. And so I believe when we have the opportunity to go from the sidelines, go on court, or go off the court, when we go on recruiting trips or away trips, we see the actual personalities of athletes and who they are as people, you know, how fun it is to be around them and the jokes they may crack. I think there's a lot more to athletes than what we see. So being able to capture those candid moments and then go back and look at them, they're like, oh my gosh. And so it's good for the athletes, but also good for the fans. I would have to say one of the best parts about working here is being able to collaborate with our full-time staff, our student interns, and the culture that we've been able to build here with Pitt Studios. And even working with our student athletes and seeing who they are as people, I think is very important, and it has contributed a lot to my time here, what I've enjoyed. I wouldn't necessarily say I have a favorite sport that I particularly like to cover, because each sport brings its own attribute and its own cultures and people to be around. I would say it's been a joy to work around our volleyball program and get to know the athletes and our coaching staff because of the culture they've created. It's been very welcoming. After being here, I feel like for so long, it's only been 3.5 years, but I would have to say working as close as I work with the teams and our athletics department, I would consider myself to be a Pitt Panther. At heart, I am a Roll Tide fan from Alabama, but I am now a part of the Pitt family. Advice I would give to women working in sports is to take every opportunity as it comes and never stop chasing your dreams. You deserve to be in every room just as much as everyone else.
So Colin, as someone who participates and competes in mixed martial arts, how tough is it when you take on someone who has expertise in karate?
The first and honestly most important thing to do is what the referee says. Protect yourself at all times, because if you don't, I promise you it is not going to turn out all that well. Someone who always does well is our Pitt to the Point City sports reporter, Natalie Fogel. Take it away, Natalie.
Pitt has many sports clubs available for any student who wants to stay active during the school year. The Shotokan Karate Club is a group open for any student who wants to build their karate skills, whether that's competitive fighting, getting better at self-defense, or simply just staying fit. Ryan Silverberg has the story.
There are many clubs to choose from at Pitt, but quite few stick out like the Shotokan Karate Club. This student organization practices traditional Shotokan karate and focuses on technique, fitness, and mind-body discipline. All experience levels are welcome.
We're not just fighting, but we want to build character, and it takes us a long time. So we're building a foundation of basic techniques on how you connect with the ground, how you move.
I was fortunate enough to meet with instructor and 5th degree black belt, Mike DeRay. Mike joined the dojo as an undergrad back in 1972 and has many years of experience leading at Pitt. He was even able to learn under Tsutomu Oshima, captain of the Waseda University karate team and founder of the Shotokan Karate of America nonprofit organization back in 1956.
One thing I really value that Mr. Oshima was just so good at was seeing into his opponent, catching the moment where the opponent decides to attack, boom, and that's when you act. And that's what I think makes us special and sets us apart, that we practice to find that moment.
I think the style of practice is very interesting because it's very focused, and the things it focuses on, things such as kata and isolated techniques, it's a kind of way to refine yourself in a way that's different from what the others offer.
This is Mateo, a junior and the treasurer of the Shotokan Karate Club at Pitt.
There are some styles that are focused on competitive fighting. There are others that are focused on self-defense, others on fitness. I think what Shotokan tries to strike is a balance between all of those.
Well, I think the most impactful thing for me is I don't care so much if I have a huge group full of people that are just a little bit participating, but if I get just even 1 or 2 or 3 students that are going to stick with it and are just thirsty for this art, they see the value in it. And if I see just a few people like that, I'm a happy guy.
It's okay to just train martial arts because you think it looks cool. It's okay to train it because you just need something to keep you fit. As long as you're willing to put in the work into practice, you can get a lot out of it.
I'm so grateful to have gained this degree of insight on Shotokan Karate, even from this brief experience. If this seems like something you'd enjoy or know someone who might be interested, why not consider trying a practice? The group meets every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday evenings at Trees Hall. So stop by.
Thanks, Ryan. Trees Hall is on Upper Campus near all the athletic buildings, making it a short walk for any student who's on campus and may want to try out some karate. For Pitt to the Point, I'm City Sports reporter Natalie Fogel. Kaylin, Colin.
Thanks, Natalie. There's a new club at Pitt where breaking something is what's expected.
And as the saying goes, if you don't like the weather in Pittsburgh, wait just 5 minutes. We show you the perfect ways to outsmart the crazy weather we get here in Pittsburgh.
And we have an origin story that honors the legacy of one of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazettes and University of Pittsburgh legendary writers.
And all of that and plenty more when we come back to Pitt to the Point.
Someone a long time ago had an idea that we could change the way we do things. What if you had over 30,000 big thinkers and believers behind you and $1 billion in research to make it happen? With a will that never quits in a city connected to everything. Well, you'd probably find yourself doing something truly incredible.
This morning, you take your place in this honored tradition. You take your place in a time of great challenge and even greater opportunity.
Community comes at the cost of your comfort zone. You don't just stumble upon community in college, you create it. I hope that your journey outside of your comfort zone eventually leads you to a community that welcomes you exactly as you are. Class of 2029, whatever you're feeling right now, I hope that sometime soon you feel at home.
Congratulations, class of 2029, and good luck to you as you begin your journey.
Pittsburgh has experienced a significantly snowy winter. As the end of February, we've had approximately 36.5 inches of snow recorded.
That may be a problem to some, but not to a certain group of students here at Pitt. With top ski resorts like Seven Springs Mountain Resort, Hidden Valley Resort, Laurel Mountain, and Wisp Resort in Maryland, less than 2 hours away, Happiness for these students is hitting the slopes.
Welcome to Seven Springs, where once a week the University of Pittsburgh Ski Club sends their students to have a nice afternoon on the slopes. But first, before I tell you more about it, you don't just spawn here, you gotta get here. So, check out that process, and I'll see you guys real soon.
Ski Club cannot run exclusively on campus because there are obviously no ski hills in Pittsburgh proper. So, we had to say goodbye to Zay and Riz and drive an hour east into the Laurel Highlands. Ski Club offers a bus that leaves from Soldiers and Sailors at 3 p.m., but you are allowed to drive yourself and be on your own schedule like we decided to do here. Now that we are approaching Seven Springs, I'm going to turn you over to Mike Caprice, and he will give you a rundown of all the gear you got to bring to go skiing.
Alright, so today, as a skier, gotta have the boots, the most painful things to wear, but gotta do what you gotta do. Poles, obviously. I got the ski pants, ski shirt, and then the trusty old skis, and then just have my helmet in there, no helmet, no skis, and that's pretty much it. Hopefully we'll have a good run, and we'll see how it goes.
Now, if you are like me and do not have your own ski gear, you can rent all the equipment you need, including boots, skis, and a helmet. Ski Club has a deal with Seven Springs where you can get a lift ticket plus the gear for just $65. If I were to go independently, this could cost nearly $200 just for one day of skiing. Me whacking my head here proves that yes, the helmets do work. You still need to provide your own winter gear, especially a face mask because that wind can be wicked. But now that we're all strapped up and ready to go, let's get on the lift and hit the slopes. The Foggy Goggle is a great place to grab a bite to eat after skiing with your newly made friends. They also have plenty of other activities such as axe throwing and bowling to continue the fun when the lifts close. I had an absolute blast following Ski Club today. I made a lot of new friends, skied down some awesome hills, and overall, I think this is one of the best clubs that Pittsburgh has to offer. I hope to see you next Friday at Ski Club here at Seven Springs.
Thank you to our own Pitt to the Point, Nathan Newbar, on the editing that terrific Clubbing at Pitt feature.
Our University of Pittsburgh Panther Nation extends far beyond Oakland. Our 4 regional campuses include the University of Pittsburgh Bradford, Johnstown, Greensburg, and Titusville. We love highlighting events, people, and students from those amazing campuses.
Today, we're keeping it closer to home. Here's our regional campus reporter, Audrey Biggs, with more. Audrey?
Now, usually I would be covering Pittsburgh's beautiful regional campuses, including Pitt Bradford, Johnstown, Greensburg, and Titusville. But today, we're going to keep it right here in the heart of Oakland. Join us as we take a few steps through the beautiful main campus of Pittsburgh. Really is a beautiful campus, isn't it? Ranking amongst some of the top in the country. I wanted to give a huge shout out to the person who took us through campus today. Sophia Quinn, your work does not go unnoticed. For Pitt to the Point, I'm regional campus reporter Audrey Biggs. Kaylin, Colin.
The University of Pittsburgh is fortunate to have some elite professors. Some have been here for decades, while others may have just become part of the Pitt community within the past few years.
One thing all the professors at Pitt have in common, no matter when they become part of the Panther family, is an incredible background in their field.
Today, we take a look at the origin story of Pitt professor Gary Jackson.
My name is Gary Jackson. I am the Toy Derricotte Endowed Chair in the Department of English, and I've been teaching here at the University of Pittsburgh this is actually my second year. My predecessor, previous faculty who held this position was another African-American poet named Don Lundy Martin. I think the Derricotte Chair was created with Dawn in mind, or somehow that position encapsulated her. Toy Derricotte, of course, is like a pretty famous, Pitt alum faculty here, faculty emeritus. Toy Derricotte, Black poet, recently retired. Used to teach at Pitt here for years and was part of the kind of historic graduate writing program here. So very storied position I'm in here, and I'm glad to be here and helpful. But personally, to me, it's a opportunity that I have to kind of teach to a wider, diverse population of students. This is the largest university I've taught at so far in my career, and it enables me to not only teach graduate students in our writing program, I also get to teach the undergraduates, and really it's all about me teaching poetry to them. Also, what comes with that position is I am director of the Center for African American Poetry and Poetics, and so that is also a huge honor. The mission for the center is basically to put a spotlight on African American and African diasporic poets, and kind of champion the idea of creation and process as being as important as kind of the end product. Just the level of achievement, and I don't know, the poets who have been through Pittsburgh, I've always loved. I dug the vibe a lot here. I loved all the opportunities you get here to work with different ranges of students. And there's just a lot of support for artists in Pittsburgh. A lot of my kind of early reading memories are associated with comics. So my mom found a 25 pack of comics or something she could order. And so she ordered those. She told me years later she did it just to kind of keep me out of trouble. She's like, I just wanted you not to be out in the streets. Another poet said this once and stuck with me because of how much it resonated with me because of how much I believe it's true. But your favorite work is always the one you just finished, or the one you're currently working on. So in terms of books, the one I just finished is a book called Small Lives. And it's just a whole speculative world of superhumans of color. I also co-edited an Afrofuturism anthology, which was a lot of fun as an editor. It was called The Future of Black, and it came out during the pandemic. So probably 2021 or so. I think a lot of the inspiration I've gotten has just been from getting to know just my colleagues, and also just different things that people are working on who are either here at Pitt or just at Pittsburgh in general. This semester has been a lot of fun because there's such a range of students in that class, students who have taken plenty of creative writing workshops before, people who haven't taken any. I don't know, this thing happens in a class where on the first day everybody's a stranger, and then at this point in the semester we're all joking around. We can all be kind of more informal with each other. The students kind of laugh and tease each other, but it's all done in jest, and they all have each other's back when they're talking about their creative work. The undergraduates, I think there's just a lot of kind of, for me at least, excitement when I see the light bulb turn on in a young student's brain, right? And they're like, oh my God, I didn't know I could write a poem about whatever. That's that level of excitement, whether they're at the beginning of their career or at the end of their career at Pitt, is always fun to see, maybe. maybe that's what it is. Like when it first starts for them and they're like, maybe this is what I want to do. That's exciting. And when I see them on their way out and they have this like 100, 200 page thing that they're super excited and they're like, okay, I'm going to go out into the world and I'm going to be a writer. That's exciting in a very similar way.
See Pitt to the Point, Pitt beat reporter Raketa Livingston at work.
Once Raketa wraps up reporting on Pitt to the Point, she's off to her favorite spot on campus. And I can't say we don't blame her.
Thanks to one of our very talented students, Jackson Simeone, who produced that fabulous origin story feature.
It's a sport that dates back more than 1,400 years, and it's popular as ever here at Pitt.
And from Hollywood to Oakland, our most valuable professor has brought her big screen talents to the Pitt campus. You'll meet her when we come back.
I am so honored and humbled to officially welcome you to the University of Pittsburgh.
Never in our 238-year history has a Pitt education been so much in demand. It's possible at Pitt is not just something we say when you walk in the door. Hail to each of you, hail to possible.
Okay, how many times have you been at a party and there's always someone who can really bust a move?
There's a new club at Pitt that may be one of the coolest clubs on campus. It's called Steel Motion Dance, and its founder is an innovator, a leader, and he is most definitely cool.
Have you ever wondered why somebody would start a club at Pitt? In this story, we'll be covering a person who officially started a club last fall, after being inspired by another college's community.
My name is Saif bin Hamid. I'm a senior at Pitt right now. I've been dancing specifically breaking for 1.5 years right now. I joined CMU Street Styles first, actually, about 1.5 years ago. So CMU Street Styles is where I started dancing.
I'm Melissa. I'm president of CMU Street Styles.
My experience with Street Styles has been probably the best part of my college experience, because before that, I was doing absolutely nothing. I transferred my first year because I didn't really like the school I was going to there, and I wanted to be closer to home. And then I commuted the first semester that I came to Pitt, so I was just not having a good time at all. Initially, meeting everybody, I was really nervous. I'm not the type of person to try to reach out to people and become super close friends right away. Like, it's just super nerve-wracking to me. But slowly over time, the people that I met were just super cool, and I wanted to be part of that community more. I wanted to get better at dancing. I wanted to be able to have fun with dancing like the people at the club were having. And I just wanted to get to know these people better because they all seemed like super interesting, super cool. We had a lot of interests that like aligned.
And we are so happy, so thankful, so grateful that you all came out to join us tonight.
And I wanted to bring this culture of dance and like how much it's given me, I wanted to bring that to Pitt. Because CMU's history of dance is so deep and it's so fun here, but Pitt doesn't have that. So I started the club that spring, like on paper I started the club, and then we started like actually doing club operations last fall semester. And it turned out really well, like way better than I was expecting. We had a club fair, people actually came and showed up. We've got like a solid core group of people now, all freshmen who I can teach a lot, and they were more into it than I thought they ever would be. I ultimately hope that Steel Motion becomes not just a dance club, but a place for people to go and find friends, find like a new, like found family pretty much. Like, I want it to be something that people have fun at. So I just want in the future that more people come and experience what dance can feel like and how much joy it can be, and they can experience the joy that I got from it. And that's why I want to continue forward.
A special thanks to Kiona Yee, who produced that really fun feature.
As students at Pitt, we are taught by professors who are not only exceptional educators, but they are also incredibly successful professionals in their particular fields.
Our Pitt to the Point entertainment reporter, Morgan Arlia, has more on such education here at Pitt. Morgan?
Sometimes the best decisions for ourselves are the ones that we didn't plan. A memorable professor here at Pitt would not have ended up here if she didn't have to take an extra year of classes in college. Sally Seitz is a film and media studies professor at Pitt and had an untraditional path to ending up here. Thanks, Bree Boland, for producing this story.
Pull out your tricks and your teaser. Any shows that have hooked you from the first 10 pages or really turned you off in the first 10 minutes? Anything you've seen that you're like, it really got me? Yeah.
An extra year in college isn't always part of the plan for most students, but it's exactly what led one Pitt professor to discover her love for screenwriting.
So I had a whole extra year of classes that I hadn't planned for because so it was kind of like, okay, let's make, lemonade out of lemons. And so I thought, well, I've done playwriting for 2 years in college, and so I took a intro screenwriting class, and sort of loved it.
That class quickly became more than just another requirement. It introduced her to a new way of storytelling and pushed her toward graduate school, where she could explore both playwriting and screenwriting in depth.
So I went to CMU for dramatic writing, for graduate school, which is half playwriting, half screenwriting. And the screenwriting teacher there, or the screenwriter professor there, is a woman named Melissa Martin. She approaches screenwriting and art with a humor. She's not so sanctimonious about it. She's very like, get it done. And some days, you're going to have good days and you're going to have bad days.
At Carnegie Mellon, she learned from professors who treated writing as both an art and a process. Those lessons now shape the way she teaches and mentors her own students here at Pitt.
I can tell from my very first interview with Pitt, it was on Zoom, and I asked the department or the program what they like about the film program here, and almost everybody said the students.
From the start, she saw Pitt as a place where young creators were eager to collaborate, experiment, and grow into their own voices.
The most rewarding part is when a student comes to me and says, I didn't think I could be a writer, and they start the semester like, I'm not a writer, I'm not really, I'm this, or what, I'm an editor, or I want to be behind the camera, or whatever it is. And then they finish the semester and they've got something that they're a little proud of, right? And they can feel it. They can feel how it landed in workshop. And not that it's perfect, but they can feel that they're onto something, and they can see that their peers responded to it.
From the unexpected extra year of classes to guiding the next generation of storytellers, her path proves that sometimes the best stories come from the turns we never planned. At Pitt, she's helping students find their voice, one script at a time.
I just want you to know sometimes the teaser falls under the Act 1 banner, but it's its own little thing.
Thanks, Bree. Although this may not have been the path that Professor Seitz saw herself in, she has still made a huge impact on her students' lives. For Pitt to the Point, I'm entertainment reporter Morgan Arlia. Kaylin, Colin.
Earlier in the show, we introduced you to the talented Winter Steele, who makes amazing videos in post-production for Pitt Studios.
Now, we're going to take you behind the scenes of the ACC Network broadcast and introduce you to one of the superstars of Pitt Studios. He's one of our extraordinary everyday Panthers.
Yeah, I started working in broadcasting super early. I took classes for it in high school and just kind of started following the opportunities that were available to me. So I started working on our high school news program, and then the teacher asked if anybody was interested in working and filming some of the football games for broadcasts. So I volunteered for that. Going through schools and classes, I kept kind of having that in the back of my head of, hey, this was a lot of fun. Like, I'd love to make a career out of it if possible. And then eventually it started to become a realistic thing for me to start working in the field. After I graduated, I was in a position where I was freelancing in a lot of different places, and I was able to kind of wait and see for a great opportunity. And I enjoyed freelancing, but everywhere I freelanced, I was just a replay operator because that was kind of the skill I had the most developed coming out of college, and I was able to get professional work as a replay operator. But I loved working as a director and producer and technical director and a bunch of other positions in college, but I didn't really have those availabilities yet professionally. So I was waiting for a position that was kind of more full-time that would allow me to just learn these new positions and get reps and tons of experience. And so when Pitt opened up, it was the perfect thing. It was a great opportunity in a city, and it was giving me the opportunity to just direct and produce and sit in the control room on days we didn't have broadcasts and just learn all the different positions, because I think everything is just so exciting. Sports is just interesting because it's so sudden. Live broadcasting in particular, not necessarily just sports, but you can sit around and edit a video 100 times and try to make it perfect, but a live broadcast, you just get one shot, so it's a lot more kind of preparation, but it's a lot of kind of in the moment, heat of the moment, just trying to be creative and work as fast as you can. And I think it's just a really adrenaline-filled environment, and it's kind of like it's like playing team sports almost, of everybody else you're working with on the broadcast has the same goal, and you're just kind of locked in for a few hours, and it's really exciting. It really is just addicting kind of to have an idea and then be able to communicate and collaborate with people in the moment. And directing is something that a lot of people don't maybe have the skill set or the right brain for. You just have to constantly be making decisions and solving problems, and I think problem solving is one of the most important skills in live television. You don't have time to sit around and brainstorm and troubleshoot. You have to work things out live in the fly. If your producer tells you, hey, you have to get this graphic on screen, you don't have time to sit around and make decisions like that. You just have to come up with something and stick to your guns and execute it. And I really enjoy that.
We've got Pitt student Andrew Killenbeck to thank for that wonderful look at a beautiful day on our Pitt campus. We also must send a very special and much appreciative thank you to Lisa Johnson, our extraordinary broadcast professor, whose class provided the content for today's show.
Well, that's a wrap on this episode of Pitt to the Point. It is always our pleasure to bring you the inside scoop on everything in and around the city and University of Pittsburgh, as well as everything in the world of sports, politics, entertainment, and business and tech.
Enjoy your week, and we look forward to having you join us right here next week with all news stories that matter. I'm Colin Ferguson.
And I'm Kaylin Davis. We will see you next week on Pitt to the Point.